Yes, good people. We are back. Another episode. And I got the Isley Brothers playing in the background because that is one of my guests' favorite songs. So I had to give them a little shout out, a little love. We have today Eljay Aguillo of the I Love New York fame. His book is out or coming out.
It came out already.
It came out already.
Yeah.
And we're going to get into a little bit about the book. But I love the title, and I wanted to have him come on because I think he has a lot of truth to share. So Eljay, tell us just a little bit about the book and tell us how you got to New York, and we'll start from there.
Oh, well, first of all, thanks for the song. It puts me in a really good mood.
No problem.
First for the book. The book actually was a 1-year project. Started out with a publisher from France, came out, just pitched me the idea through email and said,
wow,
hey, would you like to do a book?
Crazy.
For me, I thought it was a joke because I thought no one in their minds would ask someone from social media to create a page into a book.
Right.
So I pushed it off for like 2-3 months.
Right.
I didn't know. And then I realized this guy just keeps on emailing me like, hey, following up, what do you want to do about this? Like, do you really want to make a book? So
you're talking about your Instagram page with all your photos of all the people that explain why they wanted to be in what they loved about New York and specifically the place that they loved.
Brief description. It's basically a page dedicated to all the New Yorkers and dreamers out there who say who want to tell their story why they love the city through their experience or through why they love it without actually visiting.
Interesting.
So I mean, a very simple page. Like I always tell people, I don't want to go to Google anymore and look at the same 10-20 quotes.
Right.
I want to create my own page where I could be inspired by the people who inspire people who give me the energy to show why I love the city through the way I look at them. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Through the image.
It's basically it's a page dedicated to my wife, basically.
Yeah,
I'll tell you the story.
We're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it. So this guy kept bugging you.
This guy kept on bugging me, and it took me about 3 or 4 months to realize I should reply back to this guy and say hi at least.
It's a lot of diligence.
Yeah, he's very, very, very persistent.
Wow.
There wasn't even no sales pitch. This guy's very nice.
Okay.
This guy was didn't annoy the crap out of me. This guy was very nice, so I decided let's just reply to him. And then he sent me a link of all the work that he's done.
Okay, cool. What's his name? Let's give him a shout out.
Bruno. Shout out to Bruno. Bruno and his wife.
What's Bruno's last name?
I can't really pronounce it.
Can't pronounce it. Some long French name.
Yeah,
we'll tell the people at the end how they can reach out. But shout out to Bruno. Thanks for being persistent, Bruno. 4 months, long time.
Bruno and Valerie. Actually, Valerie, his wife, was the one who found my page, and she was the one who actually pitched the idea to him.
Oh, cool.
So actually, shout out to Valerie.
Shout out to Valerie. And, behind every great man.
Behind every great man. There's a greater woman.
Yeah.
And
did you see Black Panther?
No. Don't tell me. My wife and I want to see it. My wife and I want to see it when nobody is around us. We want to enjoy it with two buckets of popcorn.
Okay, all right.
She's in love with Michael B. Jordan.
She is.
We were both in love with him since Friday Night Lights.
Okay. So, that's right.
Yeah, we're a big Friday Night Lights fan. I mean, he was back in The Wire, I think. So I know that. So.
Yes, he was in The Wire episode season 1. Yeah. He has a skinny little scrawny little kid. He got killed like a couple episodes in.
Yeah, don't tell me that. I haven't watched The Wire yet.
Oh man.
Yeah, don't tell me that.
Well, anyway, I digress. I'm just bringing that up because without giving away too much, there are a lot of strong women in Panther, and you can see there's a great Black Panther. There's a lot of great relationships between the men and the women in the movie, which is something you don't often see. So.
Well, I heard that the main character said in an interview that basically the women steal the movie.
That could be argued. Basically. Yes, that could be argued. Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. So anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Valerie pitched it to him.
Yeah, pitched it to him, and he's the one that emailed me back in like October 2016.
Okay.
And then I reached out to him in January, and then when I reached back, he sent me an email 5 minutes later saying he's excited. Let's just talk when I come into New York.
Oh wow! So he came to New York.
He came to New York, well, for business too.
Yeah.
So I decided to meet with him when he came, and we planned every now and then when he came to New York.
Yeah.
And his wife came with him, so I brought my wife, and we double dated for lunch and brunch. Cool. So he showed us artwork and stuff, and I couldn't believe it was happening. So
Like artwork for the book.
The artwork for the book.
Wow.
I decided to pitch him the idea of creating new photos.
Okay.
And using the quotes that I used on my page and putting it on new photos.
Okay.
Because no one wants to buy a book that they could get for free on Instagram. You know.
It's true. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and I had 2 photographers with me, Eric and Caitlin. One Eric's he lives here in the city.
Okay.
And Caitlin, who moved actually the minute that we were gonna do photography for the book.
Yeah.
Like a week later, she moved to California. So
wow.
I was lucky to have them both.
Okay.
Yeah. So shout out to those 2.
Shout out. Thank you for your input.
Yeah, and then the book got released through Amazon, and it got released to the public in October of 2017.
Okay, I should have had you bring a copy and sign it for me.
Oh no, actually, I was gonna. The books are still at the showroom. They're only open on weekdays, so I couldn't get them.
Oh wow. Work, so. Okay. Well, I'll definitely get one. Get you to sign it. That's awesome.
I'll actually give one to you.
We'll figure it out.
It makes more sense that way.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. No problem.
And then it released to Amazon in December.
Wow.
So yeah.
This guy works fast. Bruno, you a fast worker.
I know. Less than a year.
And he's published other things.
Yeah, back in France.
In France.
Now this is the first book he's ever done in the US and social media, so.
Wow.
I was very honored. Yeah. I'm still honored. I still don't think I even created a book up to this day. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's jump into the Truth Prescription. I always give this little intro for the new listeners. If you listen to the show for the first time, the Truth Prescription is the show where our premise is essentially that the only path to true success is through accepting truth. So I typically, we usually have our guests do a personal and a professional. So LG, I'll give you an opportunity to choose one.
Personal, always.
I like it.
At least the professional part. Yeah.
No, this is great. To be honest, like most of my guests always choose the professional because it's it's a little less intimate, and then we get into the personal. So we're gonna dive right in. So give us a personal, true story, a story about something that you experienced where there was a truth you were ignoring, and it was accepting that truth that actually allowed you to break through and move past.
Well, I might end up tearing up doing this.
It's okay. Listen, it's all right.
I'm just kidding. If I do, let it.
Hey, listen, the camera's running. It's all good.
What started when, of course, if anyone has read my book or anyone has listened to me weeping about my life back then, but I know I didn't weep about it. But my wife knows the story, and she's in love with the story too.
Excellent.
But back then, in 2001, I met this girl. She's from Chicago. I met her and of course, I wouldn't let her go without telling her how much I like her.
Right, of course.
I was from Central PA. She came to visit.
State College PA, right?
State College PA. Yeah, sorry about that. I thought I wanted to just be
West
a little more.
AKA West Bubble. I actually know where State College PA is, but anyway, go ahead.
Jeez, if anyone knows. And she came to visit a family friend of hers, which is a family friend of mine, all the way from Elgin, Illinois.
Oh wow! Okay,
it almost sounds like my name, which is hilarious. And knowing I was senior in high school, so of course, like my hormones wouldn't let her go.
Of course.
And I wrote her a note before she left, and ever since then we had a long distance relationship.
Okay.
For about 4 years.
So you would fly out to Chicago. She would come here.
She would come there, or she'd fly out, or I mean, of course, a year later I went to Penn State University, so it was easier for me to go to her. Okay. And it's easier for her to come to me without, our parents having to bug us.
Of course.
So, those 4 years, we had the long distance relationship. We always had that idea of where we want to be after college. Like, hey, how about you come to Chicago, or let's live in the city. And
sure.
For me, I was a townie, so I was comfortable being in my town or any small town, or not even leaving. Okay. Even though all I wanted to do was leave my town, I was still so comfortable that I was in a place where I didn't want to be bothered. My mind didn't want to be bothered. It just wanted to stay where it is, even though it wanted to escape.
When you say you mean State College PA?
State College PA.
So you were good there. Like,
I was good
fine
there. Okay. I was fine there. I mean, I was okay leaving, going any place, but I was so comfortable that I didn't. Okay. My mind just was accepting everything.
Got it. Understood.
So during those 4 years, when a man or a woman, love each other, they want to just be together
all the time.
Yeah. And we never got that experience. We never got to a point where we could say hi to each other every morning or have dinner and just plan spontaneous dinners or just go to a concert. Every time we see each other, it'll just be a packed week.
Yeah.
It'll be just we want to be together so much that all we do is just stay in. It's just
just hang out.
Hang out, We went to just one concert total in the 4 years.
Wow.
We went to two movies total in the 4 years. It's been really
That's
sad.
interesting.
So in those 4 years, the hardest part, of course, came towards the end when she met a boy.
In Chicago.
Yeah.
Okay.
She met a boy in Chicago in school. She went to DePaul University. She met a boy, but she told me in a weird way.
Tell us.
So she sent me this CD, Just Stone, Soul Sessions Volume 1. I love that CD. It's not because of what she sent to me. It's just everything about that CD is so soulful.
It's a great record.
It's a great record. But she made me listen to a song called "Fell in Love with a Boy." Yeah, and then
I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna play it underneath this as we talk. That's funny. Go ahead.
I thought to myself, I thought she'd been in love with me for years. She didn't really need to tell me again like this. I get it. If you're that romantic, you need to tell me that again.
Right.
Like it was brand new. But I never saw it.
It just sucker punched.
It just sucker punched me indirectly. Sucker punched me.
Yeah.
And time went by, and she had to tell me that's the truth of what that song was really about.
So she sent you the email with the song in it.
And she sent me the physical copy.
She sent you the actual CD. Wow, it's CD days. And I haven't held a CD. And anyway.
You probably haven't said the word CD in a long time.
Exactly. And then she called you? How did she tell you?
She flew out and told me.
All right.
She flew out to...
Semi-honorable.
That's very honorable to spend all that money, to spend a week with me, to tell me, while I was crying, of course. That she was in love with someone else.
Oof.
So, yeah.
That's rough, boy.
But during those 4 years, which was the crazy, awesome thing that I still think about now, she always told me how she was in love with New York City. She always watched in movies. She always said, I think she visited once in her life, how much she wanted to live in the city, how much she wanted to live in New York, how much she wanted to just roam around the streets and hold hands with the man that she loves.
Which wasn't you.
Then of course it was me at the time.
Okay, at the time.
But now I'm thinking, of course it wasn't. Yeah. Ultimately it wasn't going to be me.
Yeah.
And just have that life that she saw in the movies.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people who haven't been to New York, they can only live the life they see in the movies.
Right.
And it's not bad at all. Because there's still dreamers out there. There's a lot of dreamers out there, and I'm still dreaming.
Sure.
And so when we broke up, the weird thing that I thought in my mind is not a really weird thought, more like a goal in my mind is how do I get her back?
Okay.
So
that's legit.
The one way that I thought I'd ever get her back was to move to the city, New York City.
Okay.
I told my parents.
Makes sense.
Yeah. It was
logical.
If she dreamed about New York that way, I could still dream that I could find her.
Yeah.
Like the way she could find New York.
Right.
So I told my parents.
You're a total romantic dude. I'm listening to you.
It's crazy. My wife always tells me, you're really romantic.
Yeah.
My mind just works that way.
Yeah.
I guess. It leads to everything. It leads to a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But when I told my parents that I found a job in the city, and I told them that...
was that the truth?
That was the truth.
Okay.
Yeah. It took me 3 months, and then I had to tell my parents I found this job in the city.
Okay.
Because they were in that phase where you got to find a job now.
Sure. Absolutely. College is done. You spent all this money. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I remember the day when I at State College, PA, when I was at the bus stop waiting for the bus, I was supposed to be excited. You know how people are supposed to be excited
when you graduate.
When you graduate, when you have to actually say goodbye to your parents and move on and actually make money. I'm supposed to be excited because I know I'm going to make money.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be excited because I know I'm going to be on my own without having someone to breathe down my neck.
Sure.
But I was nervous. I wasn't nervous because I was moving on my own. I was nervous or I was scared and nervous because I was going to live a life I know that I didn't want.
Interesting.
And I forced myself to move to New York because of another person.
Yeah.
You're supposed to move because of you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Everything starts inside out. It should.
Yeah. Everything starts out like that. But when I moved during that trip, I think I cried once on the bus.
Yeah.
And I passed out. No, I didn't pass out. I stayed awake.
Okay.
But what kept me awake is I was listening to Joss Stone, Soul Sessions Volume 1.
Yeah.
And that CD it didn't hurt. It was such a beautiful CD. I don't know why it hurt me so much. And I knew why it hurt me so much. But at the time, I'm like, why is it hurting me so much? But I didn't, because the romantic in me was thinking that this is going to be a beautiful time. And so the CD just kept on digging into me.
Yeah.
And I kept on listening to Fell in Love with a Boy, but I never got past that song.
I kept playing it over
it over and over again. The first song, all the way to Fell in Love with a Boy, I went ball back to.
Crazy.
And I think it's just watching yourself. If you ever play sports and have game tape, it's like watching your own game tape.
Yeah.
You know,
well, these are not highlights you're watching, though.
No, these are what did I do wrong?
Right. You threw the ball out of bounds or got dunked on.
Exactly. Got dunked on. Where should I have stepped?
Right.
You know?
Right.
But you think about all the things you did wrong in your relationship, all the things you done right, but how did that go wrong? All the times when you looked at her and thinking she's looking at you back the same way.
Yeah,
that was my thought the whole time. And when we finally landed, why do I sound like I'm flying? When we finally parked into Port Authority on 8th Avenue and 42nd, 8th Avenue 42nd, I went to the first place right across the street, which is a pizza place, and just sat there. It had like 2 slices of pizza. Just sat there, didn't eat it, and just cried for like an hour.
Wow.
Without showing people, of course. I was crying.
Of course.
I was underneath my hood.
Yeah.
I had 2 bags with me. It was only like 75% packed. I didn't even fully pack it. Because I thought that somehow I would run away and back to State College, back home.
Okay.
And I just stood there, just looking at the keys to the new apartment I was staying at.
Yeah.
And I just cried. Yeah. Because I knew I wasn't going to live a life that I wanted to live. It was for someone else. It was someone else's plan. Yeah. That I was going to live. And
crazy.
Yeah. That's from there to the point where,
so was the truth that you had to accept eventually what was the truth that you accepted about that situation?
So the following year and a half, of course, eventually I was better. Okay. I was a little better. There was a point where a year later, I remember coming out of work, and there was this girl in the elevator. She was listening to this her iPod or her MP3 player. I can't believe I just said MP3. No, it says MP3. And she was smiling. Yeah. For some reason, she was smiling like she was in love with a song, or she was in love with someone, or waiting for somebody. And she was just closing her eyes and smiling. And in the year and a half since the CD that she gave me, I have never closed my eyes and smiled to a song before. Yeah, not before, but in such a long time. Sure. So while we were in the elevator, I was just trying to listen to the song that she was listening to, but it was hard to hear. So I just every now and then I just glance at her face just to see if her face would change. Yeah, never changed. Yeah,
she was in it. She was engrossed.
Yeah, it was honestly a really great elevator moment for me. I'll never forget. Every time I come to the elevator, I always picture that woman with a smile on her face. Yeah, and she left. She went to a taxi cab, and for me, I went also to my favorite spot, Union Square, because they have a lot of food over there. So that's where I usually eat my Friday dinners. Okay, cool. It was Thursday, Friday, I don't remember, but so I sat there eating my dinner, and I saw the woman. Weird. Interesting. I took the subway down there, so it was faster for me. I saw the woman in a taxi pulling out of Union Square. It was a very interesting time. I was like, this is gonna be a New York moment. This is gonna be a weird New York moment for me. So what happened was a guy came to the taxi and hugged her. Yeah. And I saw her the same smile that she would make while listening to her MP3 player.
Yeah.
And the way he hugged her and squeezed her tight, there was the same smile. And I said to myself, why can't I have something like that? You know, not a person, but a situation where I could just be by myself and smile
and be happy.
And be happy. So you know what I did?
That's interesting. Yeah, that's really interesting because it's like she had the happiness without the guy, right? It predated him.
Yep.
It was inside her.
Yep.
And then when the guy almost is like an extra. He's like icing on the
bonus.
top. Yeah.
He's an accessory to her happiness.
Interesting. Great point. But go ahead.
Yeah.
I think you're getting there. Go ahead.
No, so I went out. Of course I didn't have the CD on me. I totally just forgot I didn't forget about it, but I totally packed it away.
Yeah.
So I went out to the I think it was Best Buy across the street in Union Square, and I went to purchase Joss Stone's Soul Sessions Volume 1.
Okay.
And I listened to the first track, second, third, fourth, fifth, all the way to Fell in Love with the Boy. And I decided to myself, let's just play the rest of the CD. I have been so engrossed or so obsessed over finding the love of who I thought the love of my life was.
Yeah.
And limited myself to I mean, no one lives their life off a CD. Maybe some people do, but I've stopped myself from trying. Well, I've limited myself from finding something through just because I stopped myself from, listening to the songs afterwards. And I thought to myself, wow, my life is has stopped because
your
of the
life's
CD.
on pause.
It's on pause because I can't pass that song.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes complete sense.
It makes complete sense.
Yeah.
So I passed it.
So that day you sat in Union Square and you just played on past it.
I laid down on the steps. I remember the street performers on my right and the people watching on my left. I just laid there and I just listened to the rest of the song and
rest of the album.
Rest of the album. And the last song was of course the Isley Brothers song that she remade.
That I played in the beginning.
For the Love of You.
Yeah.
I didn't know the title because I didn't look at the CD. I've never known the last 5 songs because I never looked at the titles before.
Right.
But the first beat, I think it was I don't know what instrument it was. I don't know if it was just a electric keyboard or not electric. It was just but it just hit me right here in my heart. This is the way love is supposed to feel like, or happiness is supposed to feel like. The first 3 lines of the first beat. In every song, when someone listens to a song, when someone says, this is my jam, I finally understand why people say, this is my jam. I get it. This is the way I'm supposed to feel in New York.
Yeah.
Right? Not in New York, but the rest of my life, but it hit me in New York.
Yeah.
That I did live my life for someone else, right? I did live my life for someone else, but maybe I was supposed to be here too. Maybe she told me she was in love with New York because I was the one that needed to be in New York. Yeah. Because she's not in New York. You understand?
And she never came to New York. I mean, she might have come to New York, but she didn't live in New York.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't care if she has or hasn't. But the first couple of beats in that song, and it's a beautiful way when someone lives their life through a song or through an album.
Yeah.
And I never noticed that until now. I'm supposed to be in New York. I'm supposed to be in New York. I was the one supposed to be in New York, not her.
Yeah.
And it dawned on me I was living my life based on someone else's happiness, right?
Someone else's dream. Yeah.
Someone else's dream. Someone else's dream. Someone else's happiness. And I never got a chance to look at my life and said to myself, well, I never got to chase anything I wanted to, which is my life.
Yeah. Now, isn't it interesting that you went through elementary school, junior high school, great college, and nowhere along all those lines, and you lived in a home with, I'm sure, loving parents.
Oh, yeah,
and
very much.
all through that time, nobody ever taught you this concept that you had to learn, that you had to figure out just living. That, you have to, I think the truth you're coming to is that you have to live your own life to the fullest. You can't live somebody else's life. Isn't that crazy? Don't you think they should teach that to kids when they're in kindergarten?
And taxes. But no, I completely 100% agree. You do that, you fall in love with yourself.
Yeah.
That's what I didn't. I wasn't in love with myself.
Yeah.
I had to fall in love with myself.
Yeah.
I had to go on dates with myself.
Yeah.
I had to spoil myself every now and then. I had to really see if I'm really in love with myself.
Yeah.
And I was I really was in love with the fact that I even though I chased someone else's life, I realized I was here for me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And
that's a great realization.
It was her leading me to New York.
Yeah.
And as soon as that realization happened, a week later, I found the love of my life.
A week later. Now, have you spoken to her since?
No.
Interesting.
No. I don't really think about her unless I see a movie title or a movie character with her name in it.
What's her name?
Carla.
Okay. Carla, interesting. Yeah. All right. Well, shout out to Carla, wherever you are. Thanks for leading LJ back to where he needed to be.
Yeah.
All right. So let's jump into now the professional.
All right.
Because you have a whole professional life. You're a photographer. You're a now published author. You work in pharmaceutical health, in the healthcare industry.
Yes.
So in all those areas, tell us about something that you came to understand. A truth that you came to bear witness.
Because it relates to the first story. You gotta be able to. I mean, you don't have to enjoy. Here's the difference. You don't have to enjoy what you do, right? Mm-hmm. But if you're in a place where you're working, right, and you're doing something, you gotta love what you do. Here's people always say you gotta love what you do and enjoy it, right? But sometimes you don't have to enjoy it. Even if you work at a place like any place, like I don't want to say any like titles or anything, because I don't want people to feel like I it's like a different level than where others are. But if you're in love with what you do, the little things, the little details, like I always heard the one term I always love from people when they talk about like doing a job is gotta pay attention to the little details, right? If you pay attention to the little details, you find little things about yourself that you start like putting together little pieces here and there about what you really want to do. Because I was working as assistant in the city. I worked in quality in Princeton, and then I did a small job here as a coach to little kids in the city. Okay. But without those, I wouldn't have gotten to do what I do right now, is social media. I took all those little details that I had all the tools that I needed, and was in love with all those little things. And it got me to a place where I could be an artist. I could have a voice myself. Yeah. You know, it led me to something I really want to do, which is social media. I mean, not social media, but like I didn't know I was going to do a book. Right. It's amazing. My wife looks at me every day and says, I can't believe you did a book. I was like, I can't believe either, because I never read that much when I was a kid. I got to meet all these celebrities. I got to meet, the future princess, Meghan Markle. I got to meet her.
Wow. When was that? When did you meet her?
I got to meet her 2 summers ago.
That's amazing.
I was on set and she knew who I was, which was awesome, because she was following me on Instagram at the time.
Crazy.
Yeah. And
wow. How many followers do you have right now on Instagram?
70K.
70K.
Yeah. But it's hard. It's hard
amazing,
to in the beginning.
It's amazing.
Yeah, thank you. But it's hard in the beginning. You're so obsessed with it. But then now it's like just focus on what you do.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're at 70K. I think we're at 1K. So we've got a long way to go. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah,
that's great.
But yeah, no, I mean, you got to pay attention to all the little things that you do for that your current job right now, because you don't know how much you'll need it later on. Yeah, you know,
that's a good point. I think what you're saying is like everything is important. Even if you're doing something that seems mundane, that there's a golden nugget that you can pull out of that situation.
That was actually the perfect way to say the golden nugget. There's always something little that becomes big later on in your life. It's just a lot of people are so impatient to find it. It just took me a little while, because I was still focusing on just providing for my family. I found it now that I took these little things, and I'm able to take a camera. I'm able to create a project. I'm able to tell people in the world how much I love my wife through the project. Yeah. I get to someday, hopefully when my first love gets to see the page, she'll find out, like, really, thank you. Like, I never got a chance to tell her thank you. But if I
call her. You never got to tell her.
I thought you said call her.
No. No. I'm not saying that. What's your wife's name?
Minette.
I'm not telling him to call. I was saying the name Carla. Let's just be specific. Okay, go ahead.
That would be my professional, because not all people love what they do. And there's always something that they want to do, right? Yeah. But always know that you'll get there. Yeah. Just pay attention to the little details in your life.
That's important.
And you'll get there.
That's important. Okay. So let's jump into some questions. This is actually a perfect segue. We talked off mic earlier. I told you, I'm a filmmaker, and so I wanted to ask you. And I'm kind of like a gearhead, camera gearhead. Like, what are you shooting with? What's your camera of choice?
Okay, so I'm shooting right now with a Canon 5D Mark III.
Okay, all right.
Which is a lot of people, a lot of photographers use that. Like a year, 2 years ago, I still use it. But I'm trying to move to a Sony A7.
Sony A7 is great in low light.
Yeah.
Sorry, listeners. I know I'm getting a little too nerdish here. But Sony's great in low light, and it's lightweight. And then obviously it shoots great 4K, 4K video at high frame rate. So you can't go wrong. It's a great. Actually, I just shot something, and the A camera was a Sony FS7, but the B camera was the A7. Right. Yeah. So obviously we know you love NYC, right? From your book.
Actually, here's the truth to that. Okay. I don't love the city.
You don't love NYC.
I don't love NYC. I love NYC for the fact that it led me to my wife.
Okay.
I love that it was built. I love that it's here, so that my first love was able to say I love New York, and it was here for that.
Right.
And that led me to New York. New York led me to my wife.
Before we go to the next questions, why don't you just tell the people, give the people the briefs, because it's a great story. The story about how you met your wife.
Oh yeah, all the stories. I can't believe I haven't.
Yeah, I mean it's a great story. It really is. Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
Tell people.
So I was telling you I was sitting in Union Square, and a week later I met my wife.
Yep.
So what happened was this girl actually I've seen through parties and stuff. We've had the same friends. I see her every now and then. I never got to speak to her, but I've always wanted to speak to her. But it's not like I was, of course, at the time I was really like, I wanted to speak to a lot of girls.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course.
But there's something about this one that I really just like couldn't stop looking. Mm-hmm. Like she had a little of this button nose that I couldn't stop looking at. It was the cutest thing. Like I never think that I would like a girl because of her nose.
Right.
And the first time I saw her, she was actually kind of tipsy. And she was dancing on a chair. But she's going to hate me for saying that. But it's okay because
hey, listen.
She embraced the moment.
Hey.
But what happened was, so I saw her every now and then. That was a span of like 3 months. And so the first time was a week after Union Square. So after that, I saw her like every now and then, maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks.
Sure.
And there was one day when I realized I want to leave. Actually finally want to leave my job because I finally want to pursue something bigger.
Yeah.
And I was ready. It was at a bar on West 57th Street. West 57th is actually at West 57th is my other Instagram name where mostly my photography is. Okay. Of course, I'm a romantic, so I named it that for a reason. I'll tell you why in a bit. We were at a bar on West 57th, and I was ready to go. So my friends, we all paid our tab. I paid a couple $100 because I was in such a good mood. I paid for everybody's drink, and we left. And I think we were driving down
on the Brooklyn Bridge, right?
We were driving down. Was that FDR? It was on the east side.
Yeah, east side.
East side FDR. So we were, I think, going right underneath the Manhattan Bridge.
Yeah.
And the driver, my friend, gets a phone call saying that one of us left our license.
How do you even have your phone number?
Credit card. Sorry, credit card. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how did he even have the number to call?
Because he knew who was there. They knew who was there. They knew my friends.
They knew, so the people in the bartender knew your friends. Okay.
Yeah, they knew that we came together. So he called the driver, which is my friend, and he knew that I was with him.
Yeah.
So hey, your friend left your credit card and his license there.
Shit.
So pretty much I paid for someone else's tab. I signed for someone else's tab. I didn't pay for anyone else's tab. But so we drove back, and I thought, I was like, oh man, I'm screwed over. This guy's gonna beat the crap out of me.
Yeah.
But as we were driving slowly, I saw two people on West 57th and 7th Avenue, and one of them is the guy, of course. And next to him is his best friend, which is my future wife. And she was just standing there. They were looking all pissed he was looking all pissed because he wanted to go home like 45 minutes prior.
Yeah.
And she was standing there like waiting, and this is not the fact that I met my wife. This is the story of how I finally got to say hi.
Okay.
I came out of the car and I shook her hand. She has a manliest handshake, by the way. And I said hi, and for me, like, when a guy has confidence, you can't take that away from him. I said hi, went back to the car.
Yeah.
And I knew I was going to meet her again.
Right.
And actually talk to her again after that.
Right.
It was that strange confidence where I know, like, next time it's over.
It's
like
over.
we're going on a date.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like that. So it was a perfect, the guy who, perfect, like, he was 25, 26 at the time, same as me.
Yeah.
It's like everything that he's done before his life was perfectly, like, scripted, especially mine, to get our cards switched at that right moment in time. Right. For me to come back 45 minutes later.
So you had his credit card?
I had his credit card.
That's crazy.
I was tipsy. Come on.
Yeah, I know.
And we look alike. We're Filipinos. We look alike.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that I ended up being his best man at his wedding. He ended up being one of my groomsmen, and I got to tell this story at his wedding.
Awesome.
Which was my favorite moment of my life, because it was thanking him. It was thanking New York. It was thanking everyone who got to play a role in his life.
Yeah.
To get to me.
Right.
So him and I actually had our own love story too.
And so then after that, you saw her again, and you guys
never let her go after that.
That's dope. Yeah. That's dope. All right. So we won't say you love NYC, but we'll say you have an affinity for NYC.
Yeah, that's
but talk a little bit about the influences that you sort of got from State College and that you carry with you in your personal and professional life now.
So a lot of people who are from State College, they end up being really successful.
Interesting.
They always wanted to leave State College, not in a bad way, but
right.
It's just not State College for young kids. There's not much out there other than Penn State University and watching Penn State football.
Right.
But a lot of the kids who went there, went to be successful in New York, San Francisco. I didn't really see that for myself, but because I was clouded, my mind was clouded with being so attached to someone.
Yeah.
But I mean, State College is a small town. Like if you really want to leave or get out and do something for yourself, a lot of people are here for you to do that for you. Just be around good people there. And there's a lot of good people there that came back from New York, came back from San Francisco, and lived their lives there. And there's a lot of people out there that I listen to and say, just go, just do it.
Okay, so there was a great support system there for you.
Yeah, very good support system.
Okay, awesome.
It took me a while to understand that.
This is a separate question, because I know where State College is. Mm-hmm. I've driven through there on my way to Altoona.
Oh, don't ever say Altoona.
PA.
That's a rival.
Is it diverse? State College? Are there a lot of Filipinos?
It's actually starting to get diverse. And then when it hit 1997 or something like that, it started becoming diverse.
Okay.
But of course, on campus is way more diverse now than what it was.
Awesome.
More Asians now. I think graduation rate is really good. That has nothing to do with diversity, but graduation rate is really good.
Okay.
But yeah, it's becoming more diverse now. A lot more international restaurants are popping out.
Awesome.
Which is good.
Okay.
And
get some pancet in State College.
No, there's no Filipino restaurants in State College. But you could buy that in the store and make it yourself.
That's funny.
Yeah.
All right. Well, going back to New York, you've asked over 700 people to pose and express why they love New York. Were there any consistent threads or sentiments throughout, in terms of, 700 people is a lot of people, mm-hmm. right? Did you notice a certain thread or trend among their answers?
They always had that one certain moment that affected them in a negative way, and they took that and polished it up and realized how positive it was in their life.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wow.
It was
something negative that happened in New York.
Yeah.
And you always gave the quote, and then you normally take a picture with them in front of their favorite spot. Right,
yeah. So I always tell them, what's the most meaningful? One question: what's the most meaningful thing that ever happened to you in New York? That's the only one question. Because that's the question I ask myself. What's the most meaningful thing that ever happened?
Okay.
But my story is way bigger than myself.
Yeah.
So that the story I told you is what I want. What I've always wanted to tell, which is in the book. But the way they see it is just. I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question?
Oh, just that You know what? I mean, you answered it. You said that, you know, the common thread was they took a negative, right, and made it into a positive. But I just made the point that not only did you get the quotes from them, but you also had them take a picture somewhere that was most significant for them.
That's right. That's why I forgot the question, because I was trailing off into something about the picture. So yeah, I'd usually ask them that one question. I get a portrait, and I take the best line from that. Yeah, and I put that quote on the picture.
Put the caption there.
Yeah, put the caption there.
Cool. All right, listen. Let's jump into Yes or BS. This is a segment of the show.
This one.
You know about this?
I know about this one.
All right, let's go. Number 1. Canon is better than Nikon.
Can there be a I don't know yet because I don't use Nikon.
You can say that.
Yeah, I don't use Nikon, so I can't say
comment.
Yeah.
So the answer would be,
I know people that use Nikon and they take beautiful pictures.
They're happy with it.
Yeah.
Number 2. Hate is the greatest power in the earth.
Oh man, so there's too many ways you could, because there's the good power and then there's bad power, right? Hate is, I think it is. I think yes.
Yeah. I think I would agree with you.
Yeah.
It should be love, but it actually is hate.
It's easier. It's easier because it's easier to hate someone than to love someone.
Yes. Yeah. Hate. Something just came to me. Hate is lazy.
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
It's so lazy. Like,
exactly.
You know, it's just easy.
It's just very easy. That's why.
All right. Number 3. Negative Instagram comments sometimes hold truth.
Oh. It depends. I was gonna say depending on who it came from, because if they don't know them, I mean, because there's so many ways you can answer that question. You know what?
Take your time.
You said negative, right?
Yeah, negative Instagram comments sometimes hold truth.
So no matter how subjective that is, I could.
It doesn't matter. It's negative. The negative is a criticism.
No.
Tell me why.
You back it up with facts. If you're gonna say something negative, back it up with facts.
So then it would hold truth.
I mean, it would. I mean, I've seen negative comments where they can't back it up with facts.
Got it. It's just a subjective,
very subjective.
They just vomited on the page, whatever came to mind.
Exactly, because you could have you can have other comments saying this is amazing, right?
Okay. Number 4.
Like I mean, if you watch the NBA All-Star game, you can say some people said Fergie's rendition of Star Spangled Banner was amazing, and some people said it was the most terrible thing I've ever seen in my life.
I watched the second half. I didn't even see the beginning.
Yeah, you should. It's all over social media.
Is it?
Yeah.
What's your opinion of it?
Well, for her, she tried something new.
Okay.
So I mean, because it's her craft.
Yeah.
You know, if you're an artist and you want to try something new,
yeah,
it's great.
Yeah.
And if people bash you for it, you know what? You tried something new.
Yeah, that's the price.
I've so many on my page, so many times where I changed my page, like the look of it. Yeah. And I don't care what people say, because some people are going to like it. And I like it. I love it. My wife loves it. So it's the only 2 opinions I need. It's hard to say that sometimes, but it took me a while to realize, wow, it is the only opinion that you need, is how much you enjoy doing it and how much you like it.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, that's what's going to sustain it.
Yeah.
Because, that's a whole nother podcast. But okay, number 4. Men heal faster than women from heartbreak.
No, that's false. I think that's BS. I think women have a better support system than men.
And why is that? Why do you think that is? You think it's? Well, I have an opinion about why I think that is, but why do you think it is?
I think. I mean, women are more, empathize and have more sympathy with each other. They know they know what the right things to say to each other when someone's brokenhearted. Yeah. They know how to take them out. They know how to deal with their messes, because when they can relate, actually when men can relate, they're actually as sympathetic as women. But when, I've seen so they just somehow their friendships they're magnetized, but they could also separate easier the same way as they could bring friendships in.
How many male friends have you had that were able to be emotionally supportive?
Actually, when you're young, it's hard to find. When you get older, as life goes by, and we all,
get kicked in the ass.
Kicked in the ass. When we get older, when we get older, actually, women or men are practically almost the same. But when we're young, no. When all the hard stuff happens, when you're young, when you're in your 20s, when you're insecure and need to find life, that's when you see women and men kind of, you see the differences on how they cope with it as a group.
I just think in general, we're not socialized to be emotionally supportive of one another, meaning men. It's just not. I remember when I was a kid, I think I used to play the viola. My dad was dropping me off to class. I had private lessons, and he kissed me. And this woman in the elevator was like, "Oh my God, I've never seen that before. That's amazing." Now my father is a whole nother story. He wasn't the most emotional person either. Yeah. But just the idea that show of support, emotional, not even support, but emotion, shocked her so much because it's not something that people are used to seeing. So to me, that's the reason why I think men, we don't heal as fast. To your point, we don't have as good support. And the reason we don't have good support is because the men around us don't really know how to deal with their own emotions. Exactly. So how are you going to help somebody else?
Exactly. Well, what I've noticed is that, of course, like I bet we all, a lot of us can relate to this, is that we are like you said, father kissed you, right? Yeah. And it was surprised. Back then, like my time, fathers and sons had a different relationship, right? Yeah. A lot more, it's not like you're separated. It's just a lot more strict, a lot more strict. Yeah.
Plus, you come from an Asian culture, which has its own sort of ideas and levels of strictness.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And I think in our generation, we saw the stuff that, of course, we learned the stuff that we didn't want to be like, and that has nothing negative to say about our parents and our upbringing. It's just there's a lot of things that we caught that we didn't want to be when we were parents or when we were friends with someone. Of course, now I've seen a lot of fathers that are amazing fathers in public. They're just like loving and kissing their children, and kissing even dads kissing their boys on the lips. I kiss my boy on the lips. He's the cutest thing in the world. Of course, I kiss my kids and kid on the lips. Of course, yeah. But I think as the world turns and the world goes, like you'll see how much closer fathers are going to be to their sons, and that's going to develop. We're going to see a kind of a shift. Of how men kind of deal with their emotions a lot more, because like me, like I said to you, like when we get older, we're a lot more in tune, because now we have guys that are kind of like catching up to all the things that we've been through. Sure. So
the lessons are being learned. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, number 5, money and friends don't mix well.
That's true.
We'll just leave it there. Yeah. Number 6. Filipinos are stereotypical hustlers.
Stereotypical. I've actually never heard that. There's a lot of things I've heard about but I think it's BS.
I think it's BS?
Yeah, it's BS. I don't know if you want me to continue.
No. I'm thinking, should I say something that? No, I'll tell you later. All right.
I mean, when it comes to the parents for their children, they're hustlers. I mean, okay, yeah. No, you know what? No, yeah, we're hustlers. We're hustlers. Yeah. Now that I think about it, no, my parents came all the way from the Philippines to live here in the U.S. for 2 years to bring my brother and I here. Yeah. Okay.
You know what? I'm gonna say what I was gonna say. I went to Manila maybe 6 or 7 years ago, and when I was there, just this guy, the guy that was my driver, he was like, you know what? I'm doing a bad.
No, do accent. It's like hilarious.
He's like, you know what Filipinos export the most to the U.S.? And I'm like, rice or banana. I don't know. I was just saying shit. He was like, no, nurses and prostitutes. I was like, God damn.
That's funny because my wife's cousin just came here to be a nurse yesterday. But no, I didn't hear about the second one. But that's actually pretty hilarious.
Yeah, nurse. Well, I know nurses. I mean, so many Filipino nurses.
My mom. I know.
So many Filipino nurses. Yeah. In the New York, New Jersey area. Anyway.
Actually, my mom worked. She drove from State College to Englewood to work here for a week, and then drove back home to State College with her for a week.
I believe it. Yeah. I believe it. And probably was paid really well because those traveling nurses, they make good money. Yep. Let's see. Number 7.
I'm enjoying this, by the way. So keep going. Yeah. If you have any more questions, keep asking.
Number 7. Ending a 3-year relationship by telling your partner to listen to a song is inappropriate.
I think it's BS.
Okay, all right.
It's BS.
Well, I got more context when you told me she actually flew to talk to you. So yeah.
Well, because it's inappropriate as well. It's depending on how much respect you have for each other. Because there's a lot of couples that only probably communicate through music and stuff like that. So maybe it was hard for her to tell me. Yeah. And she had to tell me that was like the first thing she had to do because she probably was in love with that music at the time. That's how she had to tell me. But it was probably hard for her. You got to consider like how hard it is for someone to tell someone. At least she told me.
She did. She didn't just. A friend of mine just was in a relationship, and the way that the guy ended it was he just stopped answering the calls.
Oh, that's inappropriate.
Terrible.
That's inappropriate.
Number 8. Fate does not exist.
Oh. Am I allowed to answer before I
sure give do it? You're allowed to do this. This is a free and open. We're in a free country right now.
Oh no, I would like to say yes in the how romantic that sounds, but at the same time, you don't kind of want your life written out for you already. Sometimes I tell my friends it wasn't really fate that led me to my wife. It was just perfectly led details, little things here and there that happened between now my best friend, which is her best friend, and me. So, I was the one that chose to come to New York because of her loving New York. So it was a script that's still being written. You can't really write the script out the whole way and say that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah. It's the whole like argument of is it fate or is it our choices?
It's our choices.
Or is it fate that we made those choices? Like who knows, right?
Oh, now I'm going to say that to my wife. I'm going to be all intellectual with that question.
It's interesting. It's interesting how our lives take all these twists and turns, and then we end up where we are, and we're still in process. As you used a great word, script. Like the script is still being written, for you, and still being written for me. It's still being written for all of us as long as we're still on the planet, breathing. Right. All right. That's actually all I have.
That's it.
I had one other one, but I'm not going to ask that one because
is it the Black Panther thing?
No,
you moved it all the way to the first thing.
No, it was yes, yeah. But yeah, no, that's all I have. Eljay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
For coming on the show. This was a lot of fun.
This was actually pretty cool. This is the coolest interview I've ever been on.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, you've been on a lot of interviews. You've done a lot. For other than the 70,000 who know how to reach out to you, tell the people how to reach out to you. If they want to catch you on social media.
Honestly, just send me a message. I usually just respond back. I mean,
tell them your Twitter, your IG, tell them
Twitter,
Facebook.
Twitter at Why I Love NYC. Facebook is Why I Love New York City with the spaces in between. Okay. I don't Snapchat.
Okay.
Because Instagram already has a Snapchat.
Exactly.
You can Instagram me. Instagram Why I Love New York City. I also have my photography section is at West 57th. Oh, I named it West 57th for my photography sections because that's where I met my wife.
Cool.
I didn't say it. I did kind of give a preface to that, but and I have a third one which is quotes of New York City, which I take popular quotes and just place them on other people's pictures, and so I could feature other people's work through that page.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right. Well, I'm going to sign off. As I always say, the truth will set you free if you let it. Thanks, Eljay.
Thank you.